Hi, my name is Corinne Hennessy, and I'm the 2017 College Fashion Week intern at Her Campus Media. On the second day of my internship, Stephanie Kaplan-Lewis, one of the three founders of Her Campus, took all of the interns aside for what would be the first of our many weekly internship seminars. This week's topic, the history of Her Campus. In 2010, Windsor, Stephanie, and Annie, all attending Harvard undergrad at the time, saw a need for media geared towards college women, a market that was largely untapped at that time, and founded Her Campus. At the time, it was only a small online publication for Harvard women to share their voices. Similarly to the way that Facebook expanded, other schools saw what they had created and wanted their own page. After Stephanie and Windsor graduated, Annie took a leave of absence and they began running Her Campus full-time with grant money and office space they received from winning the Harvard undergrad business plan competition. Annie, who I am lucky enough to have as my supervisor, has been compared to Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs as some of the most successful college dropouts by Forbes magazine. Now, 7 short years later, Her Campus Media is the #1 new media brand for empowered college women and the leading millennial marketing company, offering a unique approach to college marketing, connecting brands with the female college demographic through digital, experiential, and influencer marketing strategies. Their reach is nothing short of impressive, expanding to more than their 10,000 site contributors from over 340 chapters worldwide. Her Campus is a host to many award-winning programs such as Her Conference and College Fashion Week. If you want to know what Her Campus means to the 2017 intern class, please click the video to watch. The Her Campus Media headquarters is located in the Landmark Center in Boston, near Fenway. The office features many little personalized spaces like our entryway that's pictured here on the left, with bookcases of books from sponsors, awards, and magazines that Her Campus has been featured in. There's even a fish named Corinne. Everyone in the office sits in the same room, including the founders, a setup that is popular in many startups because it promotes good communication. The interns all sit at the back of the office at long tables that sometimes don't have enough room for us, but making it work is half the fun. In the back, there are 2 rooms. One is a regular conference room, and the other is what we'd like to call the living room, that has a view of Fenway Court, and both rooms are decorated on brand, which is excellent for when we have client meetings in the office. When you walk into the office, you can feel the focus and drive that each employee is bringing to the company. It's a quiet space that allows you to focus but still has great energy. If I had to describe the office environment in one word, it would be productive. At the beginning of the summer, I felt almost uncomfortable with how quiet it was and couldn't wait till lunch just so I could talk to somebody. Now, at the end of the summer, it's a comfortable silence with occasional conversation that doesn't feel awkward at all. Most of us even stay at our desks for lunch. I really enjoy the workplace environment that Her Campus has created because it's professional, but it's also personal. Each person is friendly and supportive, and you can tell that we really care about the work that we're doing. The average Her Campus employee ranges from recent college graduates to about 28 years old, and the office is predominantly female except for our web developer, Nathaniel, who only comes into the office once in a while. I'm really pleased to see that Her Campus is run by the people who have the best interest of their demographic in mind. It gave me an added level of trust and appreciation for the company because they're practicing what they preach. This summer, my internship has been to help style and produce Her Campus's 6th annual College Fashion Week, an award-winning event that takes place over 2 weekends in September. This year, College Fashion Week is coming to Boston, September 23rd, 2017, and New York City on September 30th. College Fashion Week is not only geared toward student attendees, it's also modeled by a diverse cast of real women of all shapes and sizes. In addition to an incredible fashion show, we provide the ultimate experience for our guests, offering giveaways and exclusive experiences provided by our top sponsors. What makes College Fashion Week so special is that it makes the fashion world accessible to college students who would not otherwise have had the opportunity to attend a fashion show. Having volunteered at Boston Fashion Week and other fashion shows over the past 2 years, I know how exciting it is, and I'm proud to be a part of a team that makes it accessible to everyone. My first assignment this summer was to put together a pitch deck to send to potential fashion partners. Before starting, I had no idea what a pitch deck even was. It turns out that it's like a short presentation or a booklet, similar to a press kit that tells brands all the basic information of what College Fashion Week is, why they should get involved, and how. The College Fashion Week Fashion Partner Program is based off a bartering system. We don't pay for the clothes and they're donated after the show, so it was important that we created really persuasive copy. After edits and rewrites, I got to work with the graphic design team to create the official deck shown in this slide, choosing the layout, photos, and font. The awesome part was that I told Annie that I had an interest in graphic design, so instead of just doing it for me, they taught me how to put it all together, and I got a live tutorial of how to create each page. I even got to create a couple of the pages myself. The most tedious part of my internship was by far finding the fashion partners. The whole month of June was spent researching potential brand partners. It was like 3 weeks of online shopping for brands that nobody knew existed but still offered quality garments. I compiled a list of over 100 brands that met multiple markers to be qualified. Some of those markers include a small social engagement. We shot for around 20,000 followers, preferably founded by young women and geared towards the millennial market. Then I reached out to all of them with the pitch deck that I created and became the liaison between the potential partners and her campus, answering questions and organizing applications until we picked the brands to move forward with. In this slide, you see 2 of the 6 brands that we've selected for this year's College Fashion Week. These show samples of the research on the brands that I did, telling a little bit about why the brand would be a good fit for College Fashion Week. The second part is the mood boards that show the direction that I would take for the shows. I then pitched these to the rest of the College Fashion Week team and we moved forward with the brands. I enjoyed this part because I got to take creative direction and utilize what I've learned in my classes about fashion promotion and mood and trend boards in a real-world setting. After selecting all 6 partners, I began to put together the creative brief for the promotional photo shoot that is being used for all the College Fashion Week advertisements. Planning the photo shoot was like a mini version of planning the show because I got to go through all the fundamental steps of planning, but on a much smaller scale. Our photo shoot only had 4 models spanning over 2 days with 12 looks, whereas the shows will have 40 models with 80 looks and will take place in 2 different cities on 2 different weekends. On this slide, you can find our mood and trend boards that gave a basic idea of how we would incorporate all 6 brands who have very different aesthetics into one cohesive set. This served more as an inspiration and a springboard for the 12 looks. By the time we had the finished product, you wouldn't be able to tell that this was what inspired us, but I'm not sure that we would have achieved the same goal without it. In this slide, you can see the preliminary examples of what the 12 looks we planned to be. To get to this point, I had received all of the line sheets from the fashion partners and began to pull from each of these sheets, pairing the garments from all the brands and supplementing what was missing from each of the looks with products from our official fashion sponsor, Primark. This was a fun process, but by the end of it, my head was spinning trying to make all 7 brands have an equal presence and make sure that no one was getting more attention than the others. In the end, only 3 of these 12 looks that we planned were used in the shoot. Once we were able to see all the clothes on the models, I rearranged it to make it all work. Like with the mood and trend boards, this step was important to achieve our end goal even though we didn't stick to our plan. We began our day of fittings at the office with the clothes from the fashion partners, trying on all the pieces and rearranging all the looks until we found what worked best. After sending our initial lookbook and creative brief to Primark, their headquarters contacted us and told us that they felt like they were being underrepresented in the shoot. Even though they were only meant to supplement the looks, we had to rework everything to include all of the fashion partners but more Primark looks than we originally planned for. After our in-office fittings, we took the fittings to Primark at the downtown Crossing store and took over the 3rd floor dressing room to put together the rest of the looks. It took much longer than expected, going 2 hours over our estimated time since we had to create 6 new looks. We decided to keep the entire production of the photo shoot in-house for the sake of time and to remain within our contract boundaries with our brand partners. This made it more fun for me because I got to style each of the models' hair myself, which unexpectedly impressed everybody in the office. For the rest of the day, I received compliments on what a good job I did with all the hair. On location, my role was to direct the models and the photographers and keep morale up in general, especially since it had started raining. In my review with my supervisor, she mentioned how impressed she was with my ability to play the role of the director and the supporter of the team. I thought it was important for the photos to come off like they were genuinely having a good time, especially since these girls are interns and not professional models, so I made sure that everybody was having a good time, and I think the final product conveys that well. While I am so pleased with this shoot, it was not what I was expecting going in. I had envisioned a much wider variety of shots because I had an editorial mindset. I was expecting close-ups and individual pictures and detail shots and more posed pieces. However, this didn't align with the goal of the shoot, which was to produce advertisements. This meant that all the shots had to be group pictures. They came out great, but I feel like if we had more time, and maybe if it wasn't raining, we could have gotten a little more creative. When we were looking through all of the photos after the shoot, Jillian, who sat next to me for most of my planning process, turned to me and said, "Corinne, I am just so impressed with how you envisioned the shoot in your head and then made it come to life today." That comment was really rewarding for me because sometimes it's easy to doubt yourself in this profession and say, "Oh, anybody can do that," when in reality, many people can't. That comment is one that carried me through for the rest of the summer. One of the most amazing parts of my internship with Her Campus was that we all got to attend the 2017 Her Conference on July 22nd and 23rd. This was such an incredible weekend that I don't think I would have gotten to attend otherwise. It was such an amazing opportunity to spend the weekend with the other interns, learning more about the media industry and networking with girls from all across the country, but also solidifying our friendships while having fun in Manhattan. The highlight of the weekend for me was getting to meet and talk with national co-chairs of the Women's March. On the right, you can see Jillian and I pictured with Cameron Perez, treasurer. Since the shoot, I have began the whole process over again, but on a much larger scale. The last few weeks have been devoted to selecting models, creating runway lookbooks, and doing site visits. On the right, you can see the first College Fashion Week advertisement that came out today. Last week, I was able to attend the walkthrough of the Boston venue with the marketing and production teams to see the space and map out the floor plan of the event. This was the first time I have ever been on a site visit, and it was super interesting to see the space from an event planning point of view instead of an attendee. It was a completely different experience seeing the venue empty during the daytime rather than at night and full of people. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these shows are coming together. We are so close to the finish line, but that being said, we still have 6 weeks left to go and so much work left to do. In this slide, you can see on the left is our first day of our internship, and on the right is our last day. After spending a whole summer cramming ourselves into 2 tables at the back of the office, running around Boston and New York, and collaborating and swapping career and chapter advice, it's safe to say that we've come a long way since our first day. Meeting each other for the first time back in June, we were all excited and intimidated by one another, unsure of how our differences would drive us closer together or apart. Now, looking back, it was our differences and experiences and voices that made our group so special. Out of the 20 or so interns this summer, only 5 of us are from local colleges. 4 are from California, 4 are from Florida, and 2 are from the Midwest, and 1 is from South Carolina. At first, it felt intimidating to be the only one who commuted from out of state. It ended up being that they respected me a little bit more for what I had to do to get there. Although where I live in New Hampshire is about a 40-minute drive by car to the office, my daily commute rounded out to be about 4 hours because I took the commuter rail to North Station, and then from North Station I took the T to the office, 2 hours each way. I think that we all made sacrifices to be here this summer, and that was different for all of us. In the end, I feel so lucky to have gotten to work with these women and Jake for the last 6 weeks, and I'm looking forward to working with them again as we begin our careers. Everything that I've learned and all of the connections that I've made this summer are invaluable. It's hard to put into words everything that I've learned. Although my internship isn't over until October, I still have a sizable amount of work to do and experience to be had. I've come up with a few of my biggest takeaways so far. The first is that organization is an invaluable skill. You can't successfully communicate with multiple brands, departments, models, and supervisors without being organized, or else you'll never know what you're talking about. Using spreadsheets to organize to-do lists, contacts, production timelines, and pull sheets is the best way to keep all the information organized in one place, so that nothing gets lost and everybody stays on the same page. Moving forward, I will definitely be using spreadsheets to run my clubs and keep organized in classes and in life this semester. The second is the importance of communication. The College Fashion Week team is on almost constant contact thanks to weekly production meetings, check-in calls with Primark, and of course, the spreadsheets. Each of these foster maximum efficiency that help us all stay on the same page and ahead of schedule. The third is that I got to see how a promotional event comes together from start to finish and what role the integrated marketing teams plays in all of it. I really enjoyed watching their creative and strategic process come together, and I'm looking forward to seeing their ideas come to life at the shows. I'm so lucky to be the first ever College Fashion Week intern. Not only do I get to leave my legacy with a successful College Fashion Week, I get to set the standard for the interns to come. Moving forward with my career, I feel so lucky to have had this opportunity because I didn't only gain great experience, but I gained a whole network of people who are going to support me throughout my career, and I can't wait.